It's the Playhouse Podcast with Kat and JJ.
Believe it. I missed everything.
Missed the show?
What am I going to do?
Check out the Daily Podcast.
Hump Day was a lot of fun. Here come the highlights, including, are Gen Z men really the loneliest people? We had a caller this morning that kind of proved it right. If you missed it, by the way, men being lonely is all Kat's fault. You'll find out why in the podcast. Let's go. My oldest is going to be 22 this summer, and he's done with college. He got his big boy job. He's got a really cool girlfriend. She's my favorite part about her is that she will hammer on him in any situation. He'll say something about, I had a bad day at work, and she'd be like, Jesus, and like she's a shrink.
Yeah.
Like she's a psychologist. And you could tell she's compartmentalizing everyone that she talks to, but she's very, very, very funny. And I was most grateful I told my wife that my son's not dating a dummy. Like, to me, that's very, very big because I haven't raised highly intelligent human beings.
Okay.
Which is a damn shame knowing my IQ that they haven't been smarter like my wife. And it made me start thinking about, we all have dated a dummy at one point, right? I mean, you've had several.
I've dated, I've run the gamut. I've dated the whole spectrum, and the firefighter wasn't completely cerebral, but made up for it. He had a hot tub. That was cool.
Let's do this. If you had to pick a dummy in your relationship, who's the dummy?
What, right now?
Yeah.
Derek knows
who's
so
the
much.
Dummy?
I think I have street smart.
Who's the dummy?
I think he has book smart.
Who's the dummy?
I am not doing that.
Who's the dummy?
You're only making me choose because you're the dummy in your relationship.
Yep.
Then Derek.
Oh, my God.
But
I can't believe you would say that about your husband.
I literally don't think that he is dumb.
Wow.
Like, if you sat there and I videotaped him and put it on my socials, him playing Jeopardy, it is insane.
But you just called him
the
a dummy.
stuff he knows. No, I'm just saying, like, street smarts.
Wow.
Not all the way. But you can't have both. You truly
Trouble
can't.
in
Okay, now.
paradise. We're ever dating a dummy. We all have done it, right? And if you don't think you've ever dated a dummy, then you're the dummy, right?
Well,
and
when I dated Matt, he worked for a newspaper and he was very cerebral. He was very smart. So I was the dummy in that relationship. We were driving one time and I was like, what's a rendezvous? And he was like, that's rendezvous. So that was kind of a weak moment.
Hey, Mike, you were dating a dummy. Can you tell us about it?
We just watched like a movie. We were hanging out together, and I was looking at her. She was kind of like looking off into the distance. I'm like, hey, like what are you thinking about right now?
Penny for your thoughts?
Common thing you say so when you're in bed together. And she just like looked up at me and she said, "Where does the sun go at night?" And it took me a second to like register what she said.
Okay. And she was totally being like honest. She had no idea that it goes to the other side until it's ready for us again.
She had no idea. I don't think she knew we were on a globe.
Okay. And did you think that she was a pretty bright person up till this point, or was it kind of sketchy?
Well, I think when I first met her, because she always had money. And so I I've met her parents, and like they were well off, but not crazy well off. But she was treating me to these dinners and this. And I'm like, I'm not going to ask that many questions. I'm getting caviar when I want it.
Because she had money, she was a dummy.
But no, I think she had money, so I'm like, hey, she must be kind of smart. But then I found out that she didn't understand how credit cards worked. She had thought that she got an amount of money each month that she could spend on the credit card that she didn't have to pay back.
Magic money.
Were her parents paying this, or she was getting the bill and just not paying it?
Just not. I don't think she knew how mail worked.
All right.
You were about to be in like a lot of trouble if you went any further.
How long did this relationship last, Mike?
It was 2 years.
Jesus, dude.
Wow.
Jesus.
And it turns out, maybe I'm the dumb one.
You were dating a dummy. I was so thankful that my oldest son, his girlfriend just finished her master's. She's in the psychiatric world. And I was telling my wife, I'm just so happy that he's not dating a dummy. Because I think every guy goes through a situation. Girls too, probably. But I know at least like all of my guy friends, at one time you dated a dummy. It probably because there's that initial attraction. And you really don't know until you get maybe a date or two in that they're stupid.
Yeah. And sometimes you look at it, it's not their fault, you know?
No.
Somebody failed them along
There's
the
some
way.
genetics along the line too, right? We're not all born with the same kind of, neurons firing away. Good morning, Miss OG. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I realized I married a dummy on my way home from our wedding. I had met this guy in the military, and he was about to be deployed over, and he's like, we just have to get married. I mean, I love you. It was love at first sight. We had dated for maybe 2 months, and then he said, please marry me. And I said, okay. On the way home from our wedding, he looks up at this sign, and he goes, I'll walk, and I said, I'll walk a mile for a camel. And he goes, you can read that? I was in the limo, and everybody in there would not stop laughing. And they kept going, I'll walk a mile for
What is this from?
Is it the Camel cigarettes thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to. Yeah,
I would walk a mile for a camel.
Yeah, it would when you used to be able to advertise cigarettes a long time ago. So how do you think he got to that point? How old were you guys at the time?
We were 19.
How does he get to 19 and not be able to read?
I don't know. I cried so hard. It was the worst.
Now, how long does a marriage like this last?
It really lasted only like 2 years, but I just stayed in it for 13 because I didn't want to be the laughingstock. Nobody in my family had a divorce, so I stayed in there for 13
That's a
long.
weird pressure. Did you teach him how to read, or did he just make his way through life not being able to read?
My mom taught him how to read because I was so frustrated with it. How could anybody even get in the military? How could you pass that test? It was just crazy.
Well, I mean,
I think at that time they were taking just about anybody
grateful
to
for
help.
their service, and he's a better man than me if he can grab a gun and stand armed and defend what we're doing. But he went through high school and everything, though, right? Like he had an education.
Yes. Yes.
Well, they failed him pretty hard.
Pushed him on through.
What's he up
Yeah,
to
they
now?
did. Now he's working like 2 jobs. He works for like a building company, and he's doing really well, but not for me.
Imagine that moment. You're like, all right, I'm really going to stick it out. I love this guy. He's got some fine qualities. And up until that point, though, you're like, he's just my guy until he can't read. And then you realize you married a dummy.
Oh, and I have so many siblings, and that was always the joke of every holiday was, I'll walk. I said, don't you do it.
Could he read like his name? Like you said, all right, we have a holiday thing. Like he'd go under the Christmas tree. He could find his presents, right?
Yeah, he
Okay.
knew his name.
All right.
Is this my
But he couldn't even write to nobody else.
Like, how do you pay your? I just don't even understand that. How do you pay your bills? Like, how do you read directions? Like,
Their family had money, so they always had people to come in and read. And once he married me, then it was like they had a construction company, so they'd have me read all their bills.
That is
Unbelievable.
insanity.
That's actually a human skill to get that far in life and have
That's
everybody else do
survival.
something for you. My God.
Every day survival mode.
Well, I'm really happy that you can share your story with us this morning. I hope you have a tremendous day today.
And every time you think about a mile for a camel, think about me.
Well, it's often, and I will. Have a great morning.
love her
Oh, my
accent.
God, that was crazy.
Walk a mile for a camel.
Imagine being in the limo on the ride home from your wedding and realizing your husband just can't read.
It's the 50K birthday. Your chance at $50,000. Just crack the code. Guess the PIN number and win.
Now, Tyler, if we had to describe your smell this morning, it would be what?
I guess I don't really know.
You know, it's
Start.
weird.
Describe my
Like
smell.
Derek, my husband, can get up and then not rinse off and go to church, but he doesn't smell. Like he doesn't load himself down. He's not like half fart smell, half axe. Like he doesn't smell.
Yeah,
I'm
farty axe is good.
No,
It's
not
a
at
good smell.
church. But like, I don't get it. Like I always have to rinse off. Like I just feel better about myself.
It's an awakening thing for
Yeah.
me. Tyler, we win $50,000 right now. First silly thing you're going to spend the money on. Everyone says bills, but what do you want? Like, what do you really want, but you don't need?
What I want that I don't need.
No, what do you want, but you don't need?
Like you want it, but you don't need it at all.
Side by side.
Yeah,
Yep.
same. That's exactly where my head was going. So $50,000 for your side-by-side and then everything else that you need. And all you got to do is give us 5 numbers right now. We know that the numbers are 0 through 9. What do you want to go with that you hope opens this safe?
It's going to be repeat numbers, just so you know.
Yeah, that's fine. They can repeat. Yep.
Don't get confused with it. So it's 9
I'll
1
try.
9 1 9.
91919. I'm just a girl. I don't know if let me write that down here.
91919. Now, we don't know what the number is, but we can tell you whether or not it's been guessed before. And as Kat's preparing to push this in,
That has not been guessed.
it's an original guess. So let's plug it in, see if yourself $50,000 richer here, Tyler. Come on now. Come on now. 91919.
No! No, 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 no!
Darn it.
That is just wrong.
Wrong, wrong, wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong.
How was your day yesterday?
It was good. It was productive. Dropped off a lot of like sponsor bags, people that gave a lot of money for the town festival that we have coming up very soon. And so did that. And then Liam wanted to stay after school to lift. So found myself sitting at the library reading too much about Meghan Markle and what looked good on the red carpet. Just grabbed some magazines and posted up at the library. Why are you laughing? It was so comfy. Find a comfy
I'm sure it was. I'm trying to not judge, but
You're judging people that go to the library.
no, I'm not. I just, it's not me. Like it's the furthest thing from my
You
mind.
should see his face right now. Don't tell him that you spend any time anywhere else but Shady's or the baseball field.
That's it. I mean, my life is consumed by a couple of things. And if I had an extra 30 minutes in my day,
Yeah.
I just wouldn't go to the library.
Where else do you want me to go? Spend money at the Dollar General? That's the only other place I could go. And I didn't want to go sit and have a coffee because it was too late. So just thought I'd post up there. Won't ever make that mistake again.
I would be more likely to just sit in my truck and listen to the radio than go into the library.
And then I found myself at the grocery store. I had to get some stuff for dinner. But then, you know what's a weird thing is when you know a child, but you don't know the parent. So
Sure.
I saw the child that I know, and she was getting stuff for dinner with her dad, who I don't know. And I started talking to this little girl. It was really weird. After I left, I was like, that was weird. You know, I didn't have any real conversation with the adult. It was
You didn't
like,
try and meet him? You didn't say,
No.
hi, I'm Kat?
you know, it's like those people that are like, oh, I know dogs' names, but I just don't know the owners. You know, like it's,
I always look for the adult first.
you do.
Yeah.
Why I wouldn't have known the adult. unless
But they
I saw
weren't with the
child.
kid?
Yeah, they were. They were
Oh.
together, but I wouldn't have known him because I've never met him. But yeah, I was like talking to her like too long. And then I was like, okay, well, you guys have a good night. Found my way out of the grocery
And you still
store.
don't know his name.
I don't know his name. No, I didn't really. I didn't really ask, but yeah, just got caught up with her. She's 7, and then left and picked Liam up, and we just kind of hung out last night. So it was nice.
So, my sister, whom my parents loved very little, is on a cruise in Greece with her husband right now.
So jealous.
So, I get there's a time difference, and she's never been the brightest bulb to start with. So she texts me literally 4 minutes ago. You up? I text her back. I said, yeah, we're just starting the show. Is everything all right? You know, like who starts something with you up? Because it's usually like I need something or I have to. She said, I have to show you this amazing pic I took yesterday of our sunset cruise. And that's the picture she sends me. Right?
Oh my God.
So basically, it's some guy that was on the cruise with them.
It was too early.
Who's got too short of shorts on and he's
bubble gum.
Yeah, he's right. And
that is crazy.
I'm like, you suck. And then she texts me. So she's got to be hammered. She's like, we just finished a wine dinner and and I'm like,
oh my God, that was not that was
right.
unexpected.
I'm like, I don't need this. I don't need to see a guy's sack at 6 a.m. Like it's just.
Wow.
Just
and I could see her just like this with her phone, you know, just pretending to take a picture of something else and then zooming in on the malls. Just what are you doing, girl?
Living her best life. If the secret sound survives till Thursday morning, we'll play every single hour, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., and 8 a.m. Can you finally figure out the secret sound before it goes away Thursday during our live show? Start thinking about it and text the word HINT, H-I-N-T, to 320-251-1047 to get a little closer as we wrap up today's podcast. You were a serial dater and you never really ended a relationship till you had a new one on deck. Mm-hmm. But did you ever have that moment where you just felt straight up lonely?
No. And the weird part is I am sad about that. I'm
Why?
sad I never got...
You're sad you were never sad.
I don't think being lonely has to be sad. I think people make it sad. If you're alone, you become, one with yourself. And if you're good with yourself, then you're all set to go for the next person that comes along. I think more people need to be alone.
So they say that Gen Z men are the loneliest people on the planet. You think that's right?
I don't know. I feel like all the stories we hear, all the headlines we see is so-and-so got back at somebody because they were lonely and that person found love with somebody else and they couldn't handle their emotions.
Yeah, that one always puzzles me a little bit. Hold on, she really didn't like you and so she moved on with her life and you're going to be revengeful?
Yeah.
That just is weird to me.
And
she's going to love you more because you're a jackass?
This study is pretty accurate because people had to say, yes, I'm lonely or no, I'm not. And by far out of all the different generations that are out there, Gen Z males are the loneliest.
If you're a Gen Z dude, I would really love for you to call. Are you amongst the loneliest people on the planet? I mean, do you really feel like it's all pressing down on you? I can't offer you any help because I'm not in that business. But I would just be curious to see whether or not this is right. They say Gen Z males are the loneliest people on the planet. Agree or disagree? Hit us up. Oh, speaking of that, hi, Richard. How are you?
I'm doing good. What's up, Kat and JJ?
Good. Would you consider yourself lonely, Richard?
Sometimes, but then I remind myself how much I love technology and hate people.
Oh, yeah. You sound like you're in a good place today. What's the rest of the day look like with technology and people hating?
Coffee, attempting to sleep, and listening to your...
So you're listening to us attempting to sleep.
While
so
drinking coffee. Sounds like you got a little counterproductive stuff going on there today, Richard.
The coffee is to keep me from being agitated because I need my caffeine.
Yeah. All right. Well, sounds like a winner. All right. I hope you have a great day. The research says Gen Z males are the loneliest group of people.
There's being alone, and then there's lonely. And I feel bad for people that are lonely and just can't find that special someone that fulfills them, because when you find it, it's awesome. But it's okay to be alone. I think people...
being alone. I hate being alone.
Well, and it's people like you that make feeling alone or being alone a bad thing. I think it's okay to be alone.
I prefer to share this life with others.
Yeah.
I
think you have to know yourself, though. And when you're alone for a certain amount of time, you learn what you like, what you don't like. You have different priorities when it comes to looking for somebody.
I just get bored without people around. I just like these people that are like, oh, I'm going to grab my cat and sail across the ocean. Hell no.
Yeah.
I need
but that's
some
what he
kind
wanted
of interaction.
To do. He hasn't been alone forever. He quit his corporate job. He's like, I'm done. I need to be alone for a little bit.
So James is a Gen Zer, and let's talk about the loneliness here, man. Do you feel that like you're amongst the group of the loneliest people?
Of course I'm lonely. I mean, I'm doing what I need to do, but these women out there, they just want and they want and they want and they just won't accept what I can do, and it's depressing. It's horrible.
So I got to stop you here. You say you do what you need to do. What does that even mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Well, I take care of myself. I have my things that I need to do. I have my video games, and I got my work and that kind of stuff. So I take care of my needs.
Then you wonder why you're lonely?
Well, no, I know why I'm lonely. It's because these women that are my age just keep wanting and taking, and they're just nothing's ever good enough for them, and they just have these expectations put on by TV. And here I am, I'm giving, and I'm doing what I need to do to survive and get by in this crappy world. And here we are, and all they just want and want and want and want.
Well, I think you're getting your expectations from somewhere else too. I think you're expecting that somebody perfect is just going to land in your lap without doing the work. And it sounds like the two things that you named off right away were the most important things to you, which is video games and work. So do you do anything else?
What more do I need to do? I go to work every day. I have to go to work. I have to work. And if I don't work, I don't pay my bills. If I don't pay my bills, I don't have a house. If I don't have a house, then I don't have a girl. If I don't have a girl, then of course
that's life.
Well, yeah, and it's tough for us in our generation right now, and that's because everybody expects everything to be perfect like they see on some reality TV show that just set up bad expectations, and now we have to live up to it, and that's not the way it is in real life. It'd be so funny to have
you go to like the VA or something and tell them how tough your generation has it. That'd be actually a riot.
Do we need another war?
I don't think we need another war. That would not be ideal, but I think you do need to maybe do some more work. I know you think you're giving your all, but I think that there is maybe a little bit more you could do.
Well, I'm glad you think so, too, because that's another woman's opinion just telling me I'm not good enough.
Dang, look at this guy. I know I've said it before, and it kind of gets cliche, but our listeners are genuinely the best. I got to say good morning to Dean. Again, sometimes we get texts or phone calls or messages from you guys that clearly aren't meant for the general public to hear or see, and I think that's why I love you guys so much. But Dean made me literally get coffee like into my nose with his text, and I think it's got some undertones that we're not supposed to talk about, but I do genuinely appreciate your thoughts. This morning, just touching on the fact that new research says Gen Z males are the loneliest. Then we got a call from this guy named James, and he said he was, lonely.
Of course I'm lonely. I mean, I'm doing what I need to do, but these women out there, they just want and they want and they want and they just won't accept what I can do, and it's depressing.
But he never went into what he can do. What you bringing to the table. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know this guy from Adam, but the only things that he described himself was a gamer and then he goes to work. So those are the only two things.
He's identified by his problems.
Yes.
And again, I heard this maybe 3 weeks ago and somebody said, don't let your problems be your identity. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, that really, really hit home. And now that I recognize it in so many people, and I definitely recognized it in him. Megan, your thoughts on this whole thing?
Okay, so Gen Z is what ages? 13 to 28, right?
Yeah, something like that.
I currently have 3 in my household. You heard me correctly, 3 males that are from the ages 13 to 20. And I will admit that some of it is my doing with the electronics and letting them have, Xboxes and whatever. But I truly believe that is their fail, is the fact that they literally have so much social media and electronic usage that they don't know how to go out and socialize with women or with girls or whoever, because they are seriously behind a screen. That's how they communicate. They talk to their friends on the screen. They're always on mics and headsets or Snapchat or whatever, and they're video calling with friends, but they're not actually physically getting out and engaging in the world.
There is something to be said about having physical interaction.
Absolutely. The ones over 18, what's the deal? What's going on? Why are they not being pushed out of the nest? He's
being pushed. The only reason why I give him a little bit of grace is because his dad was murdered at 16. So he was on the right track. He was on the right path. He was doing phenomenal. And then that happened.
Well, that'll throw a stick in the spoke for most people.
So he's the only one I give a little bit of grace to, but he's also doing very, very well, and he's come out of his shell a lot, and he's starting to socialize a little bit more, so that's great. 17-year-old, he's my social butterfly. That kid is everywhere. He's got all kinds of, he doesn't sit on games all day. He's not in tune to his phone, doesn't have social media. It's my 13-year-old.
And I think it's a slippery slope, too. Once you get too comfortable with that, sitting in your room and not going anywhere, that comfort just, it's what you fall back on.
So let's do this. Instead of talking about the problems real quick, let's say you could just hit the brakes today and fix everything. What's the first move?
the first thing I would do is completely cut electronics. I would not let them have cell phones until a certain age, till their maturity level. I would not let them be on video games at all.
But you know how they're going to come back at you, Mom? Mom, all my friends are. I never get to talk to my friends or anything. Like, what's that response?
Exactly. Go outside, ride your bike.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Come on, go hang out till the streetlights come down. Like, come on.
What about a rainy day? I honestly don't think we can blame electronics. I don't think that there's anything wrong with electronics. My kid has an Xbox. He's on it when he wants to go on it, but he's also outside. I think there's an easy, way to find a level ground with that whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, and our parents did it with us. There were things that they probably thought were wrecking our generation, and we seem to be okay. I mean, I'm great, but I appreciate you checking in, though. Your thoughts are your paramount this morning. Have a great day.
Last week, someone lost an eye at bingo. Bingo.
Bingo? What bingo?
Bingo! All right, so here's how listener bingo works. The first person through gets to tell us their story, but what are we really looking for this morning, Kat? You're looking for anyone listening who?
Who has a standout story from a student this year? They said something funny. They did something crazy. This teacher, all school year this year, has highlighted some of the weird stuff that her kids have said.
Things that my 8th graders have said to me. Are you in therapy? You seem like the type. You look like my grandpa's couch. Now that the ops are gone, we can yap. Your pants look like trash bags sewn together. Miss Dugan, you don't want to know what I say about you behind your back or you'd quit your job. And finally, how does it feel to be the only unmarried teacher in this?
I mean, they are brutal. My mom is a middle school teacher. They can be brutal.
Those
they
are
just say what's on their mind.
savage words.
Yeah. So you have a student story.
I'm looking for anyone listening who is blinged out like all the time. And the only reason I say it is I'll watch like poker online every once in a while, and I'll see some of these high rollers with these amazing fat, really cool watches. And these guys are professional gamblers, right? So they're making tons and tons of money. But I was thinking to myself, like, I could not be blinged out all the time. I would lose it. I would find a way to break it. I just couldn't afford to be blinged out. Good morning to Stacy, who said, I had a high school student refer to my breast as chesticles.
I know some grown men that do that.
Yeah, but still, getting it from a high schooler, like, how do you respond? Like, it's inappropriate.
Right.
But if you're responding, then you're feeding into it a little bit. So,
well, like, was it a compliment? Like, hey, Mrs. So-and-so, nice chesticles. You know, it's hard to, like, get angry at that.
I never had a teacher that I would have even complimented them on their looks ever until I was in college.
Yeah.
And
it's
then,
a 2025 thing. They look a bit, they're built a bit differently.
I think the little town I came from, people got their teaching jobs when they were like 22.
Yeah.
And then they stayed till they were 68. I got a bunch of the runs of the 55 to 68 version.
About to retire.
Yeah, and they were just kind of hanging on for those last little drips. Good morning, guys. It's Kat and JJ.
So yesterday went and got an adjustment at the chiropractor.
Yeah, how'd that feel?
Felt really good. Like, I didn't like lose range of, you know, I've never been in a car accident where I've needed it. I just like to get it done because I can feel an instant like change in my body. So that's why I go. And for my back, think I am scheduling my breast augmentation for December. So when we take our Christmas break, that's when I'm going to do it. And that's what she advised. But she cracked my back and then she has you lay on your back and then she does your neck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you ever get nervous to do that? Like, you have someone's life in your hands. And she goes, no, not anymore.
Not anymore?
And she goes, you know, when you do get nervous is school because your classmates are practicing on you. That's the only way.
Ooh.
And I said, what if one of them was on like a bender the night before and they come in and they're like barely with it? She goes, you learn real quick who to practice with in school. And I thought that was really...
You're telling me with all the technology...
how else would you practice?
With all the technology we have, we don't have some kind of a chiropractic dummy you can use for, like, you know, Annie, are you okay? Like, you can do chest compressions on a dummy. Yeah. You got surgeons have cadavers they're working on, right? Like, there's not...
I'm sure she went to school like 20 years ago. So maybe there have been advancements in that. If you're in chiropractic school right now, let us know how you practice because that sounds very scary and reckless.
It was
a
year ago that my daughter had to make the decision, was she going to go this route or chiropractor route? and she decided to go the other route. But I was very, very excited to have a chiropractor in the family.
Yeah.
I thought that would be great. I would be visiting all the time. Oh, God, I got this little creak in my back. What should I do about that, Reagan? Oh, lay down, Dad.
But, like, think of all the people that you went to school with.
I wouldn't trust one of them to adjust my neck.
With
Not
your neck?
one.
Your life. All they have to do is do it wrong, pinches a nerve, you have a stroke, you're done. So,
well,
I just
makes it a little less appealing to go in and get a back adjustment, but you feel good today.
No, with the pros, I go to a pro, so I don't worry about that stuff. But school, it's crazy. I thought it was crazy.
When was the last time, Kat, you looked at someone and that's all you needed to know? You saw them in a certain element and you didn't need to know anything else about them because you already judged the hell out of them.
I don't know. It probably would have been a trip to Walmart because I see a lot of crazy stuff when I go to Walmart. I get a lot of great deals. That's why I go there. But it's the people that wear like the nightgowns, and
it is moo season now too.
Don't even bother to put regular clothes
The furry
on.
slippers get me.
Yes.
When you see the furry slippers at Walmart, Target, wherever it is, man, you couldn't put on shoes.
Yeah. So it just like they'll just have a nightgown and maybe some tennis shoes and a pullover. And I'm like, you need some pants. You need pants. That's not a dress. If it were a skirt, I'd be able to identify it. I'd move on. But it's simply a nightgown. No effort made.
And when I see them not, like, I would fully understand it if you were in a hurry. Like, your nightgown because you ran out of diapers or you needed tampons. Like, it could be in and out. But when I see them taking their time and looking through the baby clothes and stuff like that, like, I get that.
No, I've needed diapers and I've needed tampons and I put pants on. I don't just go out in my jammies unless, there are certain athleisure. Sure, you can show up like that. But there's an age level that get a mulligan from me. Anyone over 55.
And how about the kid in the diaper? Just the diaper.
Yes. No shoes.
That always gets me.
Yeah, it might be warm out, but
put a shirt
or just a onesie
on your kid.
I know.
The reason I bring it up is yesterday I stopped by the gas station before our baseball game, and as I'm waiting to check out, I noticed this guy, and he's got the full spread in front of him, but he's at the counter facing the gas pumps, just eating by himself. And at first I thought, oh, maybe it's a trucker waiting for his truck to fuel up, or he's taking a break. No. This guy, button-up shirt, pair of pants, like dude shoes on, like just looked like a normal guy, but he was just having his dinner at the gas station. And I was like, I know enough about you, sir, that I don't need to ask any questions. So I threw the question out there right away. And Mike had texted in right away. I saw a guy drinking milk over the weekend at a fancy steakhouse. That's all I need to know about you.
I wouldn't even assume a restaurant has milk for adults. It's like it only belongs in kid cups with a cover.